So here we go. I'm sending video because to try to explain over the phone without being able to point would be nearly impossible. And expect long-winded, as we all know, that's me. Alrighty, so Chuck Peters boiler, Bosch, Green Star. We've got a 2 PSI system coming in on 1/2-inch copper tube. And then we've got our Maxitrol. And this Maxitrol is the smaller one, was just on the cusp of being able to handle the BTU draw of the boiler. So that's why we use the big one. And so this time I came, I actually could get, when testing low pressure at the inlet side of the gas valve, when the boiler would shut down at certain times, if it had been on high fire and then shut down due to it warming up, our pressure would rise too high, which would cause that valve to lock out like it was. And this morning I found that valve locked out again. So with that being locked out after the old one was locked out as well, and then the other Maxitrol that I had replaced locked out, I went back and started adjusting and checking at the tank regulator, the 2 PSI tank regulator. And just to cover myself, I installed a brand new one. I was still getting the high end when I would run and test, which is why I've been here so long. Years ago, I had someone mention that if you don't have much line between your 2 PSI regulator and your equipment that you're running, that sometimes you can get too much pressure at the shutdown. Because keep in mind, this would be like coming down off of I-95 and you're trying to reduce down to Wiscasset traffic. And so you need room to brake. For some reason, the first Maxitrol, we never had the issue. I don't know if that one was odd from day one or what, but I think that's kind of what had thrown me here. So now you see this very odd looking, what I did is I came off of RT that had a plug, and I just came in and zigzagged with another cap to give us more of a room to stretch, room to brake, so to put. So when that gas valve shuts abruptly, which doesn't happen that often. If it's in low fire, it's not that big of a deal because we weren't drawing great. But when it has to shut down on high fire because the boiler came up to temperature, that rush now can buffer like a shock absorber into that space. I have run it 6 to 8 times on high fire, getting it to shut down while in high fire, and my pressure doesn't go higher than my meter would read like it did when I got here. So we are going to give that a shot. I hope that makes sense and explains what we've got going on. I could take video of the new regulator at the tank, but I don't see the need. I'm also not confident that I even needed that regulator. So we're going to see where we go from here and make sure that this old girl runs all week long before we even talk about what we're going to do billing wise, because more than likely I'm going to eat that gas regulator up there. I don't think, because it locked out today, I don't think that was the issue. So I think this old boy was the biggest issue. And like I say, why the first one didn't seem to have the issue with that inrush, I have no idea. But that is where we're at. And it is running well right now. You also had some dead batteries in the first floor thermostat, but I replaced those so I could get that loop to run. Alrighty.